Hello there again, Mr. Adams coming back at you. Hey, got to have a little bit of humor here. There's a lot of humor going around about the COVID-19 type of stuff. And one of those things that I thought was kind of funny was who'd have ever thought that it'd be okay to wear gloves and a mask and walk into a bank and ask for money? Right? But that's where we are nowadays. You can do that, all right, if it's the right kind of gloves and mask. We're going to do some review right now for the uh, math quiz coming up, Math Quiz 12 on Tuesday. Right? Going to do some review for that. Some of that review is the percent video that I just got done doing, all right? And maybe the circumference, because we talk about radius and diameter and that. But this is exactly what you're going to see, or very similar, different numbers, but exactly the same kind of chart that you're going to see on your quiz. Gives you the radius and diameter. Pretty simple because we know that the radius is half of the diameter, or the diameter is twice the radius. All right, so it gives you a chart like this. So if it gives you the radius and asks for the diameter, all you're going to do is multiply the radius times 2. So if the radius is 8, the diameter is 16. And if the radius is 2 1/4, the diameter is going to be twice that, or 4 2/4, or 4 1/2. Right? You can do the math if you have to. 2 1/4 times 2, get 4 1/2. Right? Here, I given the diameter and I have to find the radius. Well, the radius is half of the diameter. So if I have 6 1/2 inches, half of that is 3 1/4. You're going to divide this by 2. Got to change, 13 over 2 times 2 over 1, because you got to invert and multiply, all those kind of things. You figure it out. All right. So you're going to divide this by 2. Here, I'm going to divide this by 2. So if the diameter is 4, the radius is 2. And of course, you would label them inches. All right. This should have been labeled inches. All right. Try to label things. So that's a chart like that with 4 answers is going to be on your quiz at the beginning of your quiz. All right. Now, another thing that's going to be on that quiz is, I'm going to get my eraser here. Another thing that's going to be on that quiz. All right. Another thing that's going to be on the quiz is you're going to have a circle. And they're going to want you to label some things. They're going to have a diameter. They're going to have a center of the circle. I know it may not be center, but hey, work with me here. All right. We're going to call this A. We're going to call this B. We're going to call this C. We're going to call this arc over here E. And then we're going to also have a diameter, right? Or excuse me, a radius coming out here. And we're going to call this point D. So they're going to ask you different questions. Right? They're going to ask you, what is ABC? Right? What is ABC? ABC is the diameter. ABC equals diameter. That's line segment ABC is a diameter. Now, AD is called an arc. DC is an arc. CEA is an arc, but it's also called a semicircle. It's half of the circle. All right. This point B here is called the center of the circle. All right. So you got radius, we got diameter, we got arc, and we got semicircle. You need to know those terms. They'll ask you to define those on a circle like this. All right. That's going to be on your quiz as well. You're also going to see on your quiz, right, you're going to have to find the area of a parallelogram, a triangle, and a square. Area. You don't have to find a perimeter, you got to find area. So, area of a parallelogram. Area is base times height. It's going to give you the base, it's going to give you the height. You just multiply the two together. Follow the formula. Area equals base times height for the area of a parallelogram. Then, they're going to ask you to do the same thing for a triangle. Notice here, if I had to find this area, 4, 6, it's going to be area equals 24, and it's going to be square inches, square feet, whatever it is, right? Down here, I got the same dimensions, base and height, but I've got a triangle. The formula for a triangle, since it is, remember, if I divide this in half with a diagonal, I have two triangles, don't I? So a triangle is half of a parallelogram. So base times height times a half. Half base times height. Some of you, when you're doing these, you forget to divide by 2 on a triangle. It's base times height times a half, or base times height, divide by 2. Multiply by a half, divide by 2, same thing. So here I'd have base times height. Base times height, 6 times 4 is 24, but now I got to take a half times that. That's going to be 12. I could also take a half of either one of these before I multiply and still get 12. I could take half of 6 and get 3 times 4, get 12. I could take half of 4, have 2 times 6, get 12. As long as you divide by 2 sometime in there, you're going to be okay. Again, the answer, though, is still square measures because you're figuring the square area of this. All right, what does it take up? How much space does it take up? All right, so then the area of a square, the last one you're going to have to do, all right, of the area formulas anyway, is the area of a square, which is, since a square, it's still base times height. All right, it's still base times height or length times width, still the same thing, except since a square has all the sides the same, they say it's side times side, all right, or side squared. You're going to take 5 times 5. Side squared. So this would be 5 times 5, or 5 squared. My 5s look like my S's, I know. All right, there we go. That's 5 times 5, or 5 squared, right? Which is 25 square, square, inches, feet, whatever it happens to be. All right, it's not 4 times S. That's the perimeter. You want area, so it's side times side or side squared. All right. These are not hard to do. You've got to use the right formula for the right application. Right. Next thing they're going to give you is some couple of percent problems. All right. There's one that's just the percent times of equals is. There's another one that they want you to find the percent itself. Right? So it's a division problem. Refer to the video that I did on the 3 kinds of percent problems. All right, they're on YouTube. If you subscribe to the YouTube, you can go back in there and watch all those videos anytime you want and get a review. Don't have to, it's up to you. All right, these are not required videos to watch, right? But I strongly recommend them. Right? So you also have 2 fraction problems as well on this test. In addition of fraction problem, where you got to change them to the right same denominator, right, and add them up. You've been doing a lot better on those. Right? I think you've got it. You just make some fundamental errors sometimes. You're adding wrong, or some of these kind of things. Right? Then you have a multiplication of fraction problem, which is, of course, it's a one where they give you mixed numbers. Right? So let me get this. So say it was 3.5 times 4 3/4. Right? Something like that. It'll be similar to that. You got to change this. That's 7/2 times 16/18 over 4. Then you can cancel here. Get your answer. It's going to be an improper fraction. And if it's an improper fraction, you're going to have to then divide denominator into numerator, change it back into a mixed number, right? For instance, this is 7 times, or let's do the cancellation first. There's 1, there's a 9, so we have 63 over 4. We divide 4 into 63, 63 divided by 4, and you get 1 with 23, you get 5, so 15 3/4. All right, 15 3/4. After you've done the division, you get 15 And sorry, it's a little sloppy there because I'm doing it sideways. All right, so you get the idea. That's how you do that problem. So that's the complete review of your quiz. You know everything that's going to be on there, the exact kind of problems you need to know how to do. You can watch this video as many times as you want to get that down, and you should do fine on your quiz, particularly if you check your work. Thank you.